Hello, my name is Christian Villanueva, and my research topic is whether or not the government should fund research for working memory tests. So, background. What is fluid intelligence? Fluid intelligence can be defined as the ability to solve problems independently of knowledge acquired previously and put it into the brain, as well as find both patterns and logic in different situations. So basically this is the work of your short-term or working memory. The issue here has been one that has affected society on a greater level. The U.S. has seen parts of its employees being replaced by automated machines, and it has been estimated to have more to come. CNN Money suggests that 38% of jobs in the U.S. are at high risk of being replaced by robots and artificial intelligence over the next 15 years. According to a new report by PwC, companies have started replacing workers with automated machines that are cheaper to manufacture on the basis that they're cheaper to manufacture and they want to maintain a steady budget and save money. One prime example of the economic hardship would be going all the way back to 1977 in Youngstown, Ohio. And in The Atlantic's A World Without Work, it details how there was a large support from corporations for using machines in factories for steel instead of workers. And as a result, there have been a large increase in depressions, suicides, and abusive families, all from this one event. So, wide success and usage. Studies show that this can help kids as well as a few adults alike be able to improve their skills mentally and even be able to reduce symptoms of those that have ADHD. One such study was seen from Swedish neuroscientist Torkel Klingberg, who took a group of children with the aforesaid disorder, ADHD, and controlled the experiment by having half of those kids take the fluid intelligence test and the other were just doing other stuff. And after 5 weeks, Klingberg found that those who played with the working memory games fidgeted less and moved less, and they also scored higher on one of the higher measures of fluid intelligence. And another one was conducted by Washington University and Harvard. The test was similar, but they used a group of adults, so they had to change the test to make it a little more difficult. And what I mean by this is they added here, let me go back to this. So I forgot to mention that the test that they used to improve fluid intelligence would be called the NBAC game, which is basically this thing right here. It's set up in a tic-tac-toe fashion, and one of these, like one tile would pop up, then it disappear, then another, which one is this one right here, and then and then you have to, it's kind of a work of your memory, so you have to remember which one, say, was the one before this one, which is that one, and then the second one before that. So, fluid intelligence uses nonverbal reasoning, which is the ability to understand and analyze information using your visual reasoning. Sequential reasoning, which is basically you start with a bunch of rules and constraints, and you have to use different steps to solve your given solution or problem. And categorical reasoning, which is sort of a Venn diagram, and you have to compare and contrast two different topics. So going back to this, state that the researchers at Washington and Harvard universities, they basically added animal sounds that would be played alongside that tic-tac-toe game that I said before. And so you'd have to memorize both the animal sounds that were playing as well as the tiles. And so the science behind it, it's one of the two types of intelligences that exist in the brain, the other being this thing called crystallized intelligence, which is basically your long-term memory. It's considered as the treasure trove of stored information and how-to knowledge. It's how you're able to ride a bike, and it's the sort of thing that's tested on Jeopardy. Working memory relies on significant parts of the brain to function properly. Memory mainly exists in the temporal lobe, which is right there, and it is also key to being able to comprehend and understand meaningful speech. Without it, you wouldn't be able to understand someone if they were talking to you, or just comprehend what they were saying. It's special because it makes sense of all the different sounds and pitches being transmitted from the receptors to your ears. Inside of the temporal lobe exists the hippocampus, which is essential for memory to function, and it transfers from short to long-term memory and your spatial memory and behavior. The frontal lobe, on the other hand, is important for controlling thoughts, reasoning, and behaviors. You use it nearly every day and for things like decisions and say what you want to eat or drink for breakfast today. So the main idea here is that simply by funding these tests that focus on improving working memory, you would definitely see an increase in actually both the short-term and long-term memory capacities, thenceforth paving the way for better grades in school as well as higher productivity in workers. Because this type of intelligence allows people to hold on to information long enough and use it, and it plays an important role in your concentration and following instructions. This also useful as possible. The skills from these tests will lead to more jobs in specific areas of the workforce, thus battling the issue of machines replacing workers in factories or other areas of work. So simply by funding these tests, they provide for a better mental capacity in people as well as a heightened productivity, said before. We can safely assume that it'd be worth it to have workers in places like factories instead of automated machines, as it'd be more fair to the people if this occurred, and there would not be issues with things like experience and abilities, as well as their productivity. We can also utilize memory in a matter of jobs that are important to people, such as foreign language teachers. An example would be they have to memorize and remember conjugations and verb tenses. Paramedics, when they arrive at a scene, they'd have to remember protocol quickly and effectively. And even judges, which is basically just remembering of laws and constitution. There would be a large increase in these jobs, and they will help people that are affected or are going to be affected by the replacing of workers with machines. And this is, we're excited.
Thank you. First question. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
Well, the perspectives, I tried to make them more connected, like the science of it, and of course it has an effect on someone and how it works on the more broader level of like society. So I just wanted to make it more, try to connect them.
What advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
Definitely to try to find more of the counter-arguments. I wasn't able to find many, but there could be more. So by finding the counter-arguments, it kind of add to the credibility or the reliability of this research topic. And so, yeah.
Thank you.